Hello everybody, this is Simeonski again, and this is my next tutorial, and today I will explain to you how you can create things with simple shapes. Yeah, let's go for it. Alright, we are inside our mecha room again, and I will explain to you how to create things with simple shapes. We will be mainly using the cube shape, but you can also use the others. For this tutorial I will just use the cube shape now and maybe a pyramid or something, but the others are working kind of the same way. I will do an extra thing for tube and ribbon, which is a totally different system. But let's start. So you first have to select the cube icon here, and then go to tools, and you have to create tab here. Very important when building. I would, for the beginning, select workspace here, and also snapping to grid, which, what is this doing? It's basically connecting whatever you build here to the world space. So let's go through some settings for this. I will do a house here, a simple house, very simple house. I think this will be enough to explain the basics of this. So what you first want to do, you have the create tool, and then you have some settings here. There's not too many settings in the cube object, but there are some. Let's see. Very important are the create tool settings up here. And then we have two different options here. Create grabbable objects on off. I would leave everything to default here. But what you might sometimes want to change is uniform shapes. What does this do? I will work now with uniform shapes, which means when I create something, as you see, it stays rectangled. So it's the same. It stays a cube basically. If you turn this off, uniform shapes here, if you draw them, you see you can draw like rectangles that are not cubes anymore. You can use that, but I would suggest a different way when you create new stuff. Keep uniform shapes. Create your first cube. Let me turn off something. Fade world, and I don't know what this is. So this is how it should look like for you, because there's some settings in general that you can change that you would normally only have to change for some circuit related stuff normally. So it's best just leave the settings as they are and don't change them for now. But yeah, now you have one object here that you can see from different sides. And we want to create a house in here. So what you will need mostly is the transform tool for here. And yeah, go to your object, and then you can resize it by using these levers. So let's say this is a wall. Here we go. And now how you could add the second wall is just use this again. But there's another way to do it, and I will use the other way now. You can use the clone and flip tool and just simply take the wall, clone it. Now you have a second one. Use the transform tool, move it around. And since now world space is activated, you see it's perfectly in the right angle. You can move the wall to this. Yeah, maybe I'm not doing it the best here now. I'm walking around now. So it's perfectly aligned. If it doesn't align perfectly, as you see in this example, you might want to turn off the snapping for just a second and then precisely put it in the right spot. This is a little bit tricky sometimes, but in general I would consider you to keep the snapping to grid for this, what I'm doing right now. So let's see, this would be my first corner. So let's put in a door and some windows here. How do we do this? We use the clone flip. Again, this would be the door, and then I can resize it just like that. Oh, this would be the window. Okay, just like that. Clone flip and put a clone flip next to each other. So this is how you can basically build anything you want with these basic shapes. So this is an easy example, of course. This is how my workflow would be. I basically do a lot of copy and paste here and moving things around. Just like that. So I think you get the point. So I want to have 2 more walls here. Oh, let's maybe try something else. So if I want to copy more than just one object, I can do this with the select tool. And this would now, if I'm changing from I'm selecting one thing here, use the clone and flip here, and this way I can basically copy the whole thing and then just move it. So I have 2 doors now, 2 windows, and for example, okay, this will be a little bit awkward now, but I will still do this. Let's move this here. Okay. Now, what is happening if you are finished? This just happened to me. You just let go of your Maker pen, and then this object you just built is one object. So I can select, and this is all already one object. And then I can, of course, with this one object, use the clone and flip. And here I will use the flip now that you see what it does. So basically, turns it around, and now you have your house. So that's how you build stuff. So what you can see now is it's 2 separate objects. I go to this, selecting all this, go to this, and it's selecting all this. I can now, you also see the walls start not looking nice, so I can now use the recolor option to just set the color maybe to yellow, and I have a lot of materials here that are self-explained: wood, painted wall, brick, some glowing materials I do have here, some, yeah, this is glowing, metal is reflecting the sun, rock is kind of some different rock and wood structures that you can use, but I want to use painted brick now for this, and I want to use the color. Let's make it white. So you can have material here, color here when you use the recolor tab. So, and what I do, I just point, and then every object in this selection will have the same color. Do it here. So what if you want to just color one part, or yeah, if you just want to color one part of this, maybe I would just want this to look different, this pillow or what it is. Then you would have to add it inside the object. How do you do this? You go to select, you select the object, this one, and then you go to your Maker pen again, and you have this edit thing up in this corner. Click on it, And now you can use the transform or whatever tool. Wait. Okay. I will go out again. So use the edit and then click on the object. And then it should look like this. It's not only the edit thing here anymore, there's also a done thing. And this means you are now inside this object. You can see these things turn green now. And I can change everything in here. For example, I can recolor this and not make it white, but make it dark. And this is how you can change things within one object. And yeah, you can, and if you're finished, you can just click on done or just let go of your maker pen and pick it up again. And then you're outside again. So, rec room. Oh, let's look at the maker pen, yeah. So, rec room has a system that's called the ink system. Let me explain this really quickly. So there's a bar here that's called ink, and once it fills up to 100%, you cannot build anything anymore. It's basically a system that saves energy of your device, so people cannot overcrowd a room or something and make it stuttery because it has hard times loading everything. But there are some things connected to the system. If you have a lot of single objects like this, I have now 2 objects here. You can see they are turning green. But I don't need to have this as 2 objects. I can easily use the select both objects, and then there's an option menu coming up here somewhere. You can click that and go to merge shapes. This means now it's 1 object, and you can see it's taking way less ink if it's 1 object. This is something you need to consider. You can also, if you don't like to have this in 1 object, or if you want to move things around separately, then you would also be able to use the edit again, go to it, use the select again, select several parts of it, and go to options, split shapes. And so whatever you selected will be sent out from this selection, and you have 2 selections again. Yep. Okay, to finish off this house, so we are clear, I will use the pyramid to make a roof. So it's basically you make a pyramid shape like this. Move it to the top. Yeah, just move it to the top a little bit. And then you can just resize it so it fits. So it would cover the whole house. Bam. Just like that. And that's how you basically make an easy house with basic shapes. So what else would be important when you build? This is important for later, but I will just mention it for now. You have some properties in your when you make a shape. So this is like a sphere now, and I can run into it, I can climb on it, stuff like that. But you can change the settings of this thing. Just easily go to your maker pen, go to the config, click on it, and it should automatically jump to the config tab. And then you can configure this. Most important thing, why I want to show this now, is there's different physics modes in here. So decoration would be, you can go through it. Yeah, if I put it to decoration, it's just flying and I can go through it. This kind of this mode decoration takes the less ink. So if you want to save ink, you want to put a lot of things in decorational mode in here. Environment you cannot go through it, you can climb kind of on it, it's basically blocking you. Physical, very interesting, means if I let go, I can do things like that. So this is pretty cool, but this takes also a lot of ink. So you cannot have too many of these objects that you can then just throw around and stuff in one room. And the last mode would be sticky. This basically means you can, it's not working now, you can stick it to some other objects, but this is not working now because sticky only works with another setting that we will go for now, which comes in it. I keep this physical now. So then the basic interactions are also important. You can set roles that only a few people with a role can use the object. I'm not using this too much, but some important things that I'm using a lot is grabbable. This means you can just pick it up, throw it around. This is very important for later game design because you want to have some objects that you can take from point A to point B. Yeah, and move them around and they can trigger some things there. So the second would be another one that you can do. I will do this with with this wall now, maybe here, is climbable. What does this mean? If you make something climbable, I can go to it and climb up. Just like that. This is not working with other things. Here I cannot grab it, but here this I can get myself up there. Okay. What else do we have? So these are the most important things basically. There's some other things you can freeze it, but this you can also do with the tool. And there are some things support wall run and this clambering and teleport. This means clambering and teleport means if I'm jumping here. Oh, let's try here. No, let's try here. I'm going here. I can kind of clamp myself up. If I deactivate clambering on this, I will only be able to get on this by directly jumping on it, for example, or yeah, basically by directly walking on it or jumping on it. I cannot teleport myself up there then if I deactivate this. So this will basically be needed for games and stuff. So let's just go through the settings quickly so we have them all. I will not explain everything that you don't need throws. Yeah, you can add tags. This will be important later on. And you can set a respawn. Let's try this. This just means if someone is playing around with this and putting it to some awkward place, it will just get back to the place where you have put it in the first place. This can be helpful. During games will be only interesting for games and can modify with circuits. It's something for later. So this would be throwing it away. Pop. And it's returning there. Okay. Yeah, this is basically how you build with basic shapes. Thanks for watching. Oh, let me go back. Sorry guys, I forgot something important that is not really related to basic shapes too much, but it's related to the house we are building. And this is, you might have seen, you have windows here. And there is, by this point, there's no transparent material in the normal palette. So how do you put windows or transparent stuff? Pretty easy. You go to your palette and you go to, so that's the main palette, that's how it would look like. You go to the search option here and you just put glass, and then you have a glass object, this rectangled one, not these. And then you can just put this object in your room, scale it freely, and now you have a glass in here. You can even go to configure this, and you can change the color or even the opticality. Like if it's 1, I think it will be, yeah, it's getting darker the higher it is. I think 1 would be the, yeah, you can go up to 95%. If it's 1, it would be non-transparent, but you cannot set it up to this, but you can make it less. 0.1, for example. So then it's less transparent, or more transparent. Yeah, this is just, it's not really important for the basic building things, but it's related to this house building something that comes in there. Okay, that's it really now. Thank you guys for watching again. As always, like and subscribe, and visit my extra room that I built to show off the things that you can do and to give you a little bit insight, especially when the circuits come up, that you can just check out, make a selfie, post it, whatever. And yeah, see you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.